The Oklahoma City Thunder pull off a blowout, comeback, survival win in Dallas. What just happened? We're going to recap it all right here on the Locked On Thunder podcast.
You are Locked On Thunder, your daily Oklahoma City Thunder podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Let's get it going on the Locked On Thunder podcast, on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. I am your host, media member, editor-in-chief over at thunderousintentions.com, Rylan Stiles. Follow me on Twitter at Rylan_Stiles. Follow the show on Twitter at LOThunderPod. Email the show, LOThunderPod@gmail.com. On today's show, we're diving into the Oklahoma City Thunder getting a blowout win, come from behind win, clutch time win, every kind of win you can experience in a basketball season, they experienced in Dallas against the Mavericks. Chet Holmgren has a knack for making the clutch time plays. SGA was very impactful in this game. The bench showed up in a big way. We'll talk about it all in today's show, brought to you by Gametime. Go download the Gametime app, create your account, use code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. Now, for the Dallas Mavericks, Luka Doncic was back. He missed Friday's game due to the birth of his first child. Kyrie Irving was out, though, on the second night of a back-to-back. Exum was out. Maxi Kleber was out. Josh Green was out. And Tim Hardaway Jr. were out. So Tim Hardaway Jr., of course, he can fill it up. Kyrie, you know what he can do. So some valuable pieces gone for Dallas in this game. The Thunder, outside of their two-way guys, they were fully healthy. The two-way guys, of course, with the blue right now. Trey Mann didn't play, coach's decision, and then Micic didn't play, coach's decision. Everybody else played. Everybody else had a hand in this win for OKC. The Thunder started out in this game awful offensively. A terrible start offensively. Their first bucket doesn't come to like the 9-minute mark. And typically against an offense like Dallas, if Dallas is able to have a stretch like that defensively, they're going to be in control because of how good they are offensively. The Thunder defense bought them some time to get things back on track. But at the end of the day, SGA ends that first quarter with just 1 point to his name. The Thunder got down 5 in that first quarter. The defense, of course, stabilized the game for them until the shots began to fall. And then that second quarter rolls around, and the Thunder, for the second straight game, are led by J-Dub, who helps them push that lead to 16 points. SGA comes in at the end of the second quarter with his normal rotation, and he pushes it to 20-point lead for the Thunder, and eventually it gets to a 26-point lead. But you saw in this game how good the Thunder can be when everything's working together. Even while SGA has just 1 point, the Thunder had the lead, and the Thunder returned the lead to him larger than it was whenever he left, and he had the 16-point lead to come back to, and that makes the Thunder so tough to defend, so tough to beat, is whenever you can pass the baton to the bench and they can continue to build on the lead, and they can continue to play good basketball in the non-SGA minutes, which they've done the last two nights. Now, the last two games have been against teams on the second night of a back-to-back, so that helps too. But in general, they're just playing better basketball than they were previously when SGA is not on the court, and it is helping them get wins because we know what SGA can do when he is on the court. So the Thunder take this 26-point lead, but then the third quarter rolls around. And this is a problem area for Oklahoma City, where this is a young team trying to figure out how to keep your foot on the gas, how to play with a lead. We've seen them give away leads in this third quarter many times this season. The Mavs cut this lead all the way down to just 9 points in the third. But the Thunder immediately respond, and they go on this 16-0 run. They go back up 24 points, and you're thinking, hey, the Thunder have learned the lessons, right? They've learned from that Hawks game. They've learned from the Pelicans game. They've learned from these games where they give away the lead, and they've been able to now go on a 16-0 run. Everything's back under control. Not so fast. Not when you have Luka. Not when you have Seth Curry raining threes and the AAC starts getting jumping. The Mavs go on a 30-0 run. It is undeniable that you play terrible basketball if you give up a 30-0 run. Like in that sequence of events, in order for the other team to go on a 30-0 run, you have to play awful basketball. That's just the honest truth. There's nothing else to say other than they were playing terrible in that stint of time. And they should embrace the fact that they were playing terrible in that stint of time. What is encouraging about that stint of time is you're on the road, the crowd's into it. You're facing off with a generational player in Luka Doncic who is just having his way out there. And this is the one area where I don't think that the Thunder just let Luka do whatever he wanted to. Luka is just that good. Like I thought Cason played well. I thought Lou played well on Luka. It's just that Luka is Luka. So like that's the only area where I will say like, hey, he's going to go off because he's going to go off against anybody because he's Luka Doncic. But other than that, like a 30-0 run is inexcusable. What is encouraging is this young Thunder team, of their active, of their rotational players, second youngest roster in the NBA. This Thunder team to let up a 30-0 run, and you're trying to exhaust every resource. You're changing things up. You've blown all the timeouts by the 4-minute mark of the fourth quarter because you're just trying to stop the bleeding. For them to respond that way, again, no timeouts after the 4-minute mark of the fourth quarter. So like this was all on the players. This was all on player execution. This was all on them figuring this out. To be able to handle a 30-0 run and get down 6 in the fourth quarter and fight back with your own 14-3 run and win the game by 6. That just shows the level of resolve and maturity for this team. And basketball maturity, is not based on necessarily like how many years you are into the NBA. We typically view it that way because traditionally speaking, you do have to go through the growing pains and you have to experience playoff losses and grow together and learn, and learn kind of by failure pretty much. This Thunder team is clearly learning on the job. They're clearly learning while doing it. This was not the same Thunder team that blew that big lead to the Pelicans. This was not the same Thunder team, that lost their lead to Atlanta. Like they did lose the lead. They did let up 30-0. But like for the fact of this young Thunder team to give up a 30-0 run, I can guarantee you nobody on the court in their playing career, high school, college, NBA, any level, had ever been on the wrong side of a 30-0 run. To be on the wrong side of a 30-0 run and you just have to feel terrible. Like imagine what you felt. And this isn't like you're not the one out there, getting embarrassed on the court. So imagine what they felt giving up a 30-0 run. The whole lead withers away. You thought you had this game in hand. And instead of kind of shriveling up and pouting or pressing or doing, just they continued to play their style of basketball. They continued to fight and they won the game. That mental toughness and maturity to handle runs is what it takes to win in the NBA. So you can give all the qualifiers. You can talk about how young they are. You can talk about how, this team is ahead of schedule or what the schedule is, what the timeline is. The bottom line is what it takes to win in the NBA is handling the fact that basketball is a game of runs. And we've seen now, close to 20 games of them handling runs and winning more often than not. So this is a team that is top 5, both in offensive and defensive net rating. The only NBA team to be top 5 in both. The Celtics and Nuggets are top 10 in both. They are incredible on the road. Only 2 road losses this year, and they have won 7 times away from home. They're 13-6, 3rd seed in the West. And this young team continues to defy what you think would be normal. It's not normal to go and let up a 30-0 run. But when you do, if it's ever been done, when you do let that up, to be able to recover and win the game is unheard of, especially when you let that up in the fourth quarter, especially whenever you find yourself down 4 points with 4 minutes, 6 points with 4 minutes to go after that onslaught from Dallas. Like, basketball is such a game of runs. Like, yeah, you get down by 20 in the first quarter, it's not over. Obviously, you saw that tonight, even in this win for Oklahoma City. But when you let it happen at the end of the fourth quarter, usually it's over. Usually it's over. And, Mark tried everything he could to stop the bleeding. Again, he used all his timeouts by the 4-minute mark. From there on out, the players had to play, and the players did come through. And like, it was the players who you're going to lean on. It was J-Dub with the go-ahead bucket. It was SGA with a steal, coast to coast, exclamation point. It was Chet Holmgren with the blocks and the points down the stretch. Like, your players who you're going to rely on to win you games are just better. They're just ahead of schedule. They're just whatever you want to call it. More mature than their NBA experience, whatever you want to call it. But they have it. They have it. And the Thunder won the rebounding battle. They got 50 rebounds, a season high. Obviously, that's the nature of shooting a ton of shots in both directions. They forced 15 turnovers. OKC only gave away 12 turnovers. The Thunder shot 44, 45, 81. Dallas shot 44, 36, 65. The Thunder won in the paint 42 to 36. They won second chance points, and they won fast break points. So the Thunder were just awesome all around in this game outside of a 30-0 run by Dallas, which it's just laughable the fact that even happened. 5 lead changes, 2 times tied, and this is what winning looks like in the NBA. This team has arrived. This team is good. This team is built to win NBA basketball. Now, I don't know what's going to hold in April, right? So don't misconstrue this as they're going to win the championship of this year. What I do know is the nucleus that you are relying on, the J-Dubs, the Chets, the Shays, the Casons, like the Isaiah Joes, the guys you are relying on who we're going to talk about coming up, those guys have it. Those guys are 16-game players, 16-win players. Those guys can really help you go far in the NBA. Might not be this year, because I do believe in the postseason that it's a different game. And I do believe in the postseason that you have to, go through some battles and learn on the fly. And it's harder to learn on the fly in the postseason. Learning on the fly there, you lose a couple games, the series is over, and you're in a huge hole versus in the 82-game season. But like, still, the guys you're going to hope to get you to the other side, you already have that base. You already have that base of guys who are going to be the reason why you eventually, hopefully for the Thunder, win a championship. Like, these are going to be your championship level players. It's just a matter of how quickly can that come together. It's come together extremely fast in the regular season, but the postseason is a different game. But for right now, the Thunder have what it takes to win night in and night out. There is not a single team who, they have no shot of beating night in and night out in the NBA. There's, of course, more difficult matchups than others, but there's no team who, if they're coming up on a Tuesday, that you look at and go, well, that's an obvious loss. Denver blew them out in the home opener. Well aware of that. You re-rack that game. Yes, it's a very, very, very tough matchup just because of the way that the two teams play, but it's not as though it's an automatic loss. And there's just something, and I know this has nothing to do with the players on the court tonight, but something symbolic about December 2nd, 2 years ago, the Thunder were on the wrong side of the worst loss in NBA history, dropping a game by over 70 points. This time, they give up one of the worst runs in NBA history, giving up a 30-0 run. They win the game. And look, from that Grizzlies team, that lost to the Grizzlies, only 3 players are still on the team. Only one of them actually plays, and that's Lou Dort. So, it doesn't really matter, but it's just kind of interesting. Happened on the same day, and the Thunder are here now. After suffering that brutal loss 2 years ago, now they have the best future in the NBA. Now they have players who you would consider, championship quality players. And we'll see if that ever materializes. We'll see when that ever materializes. But nonetheless, they have those kind of guys in-house right now in Oklahoma City. This is the group. This is the group that can get it done for OKC. We'll talk about it more coming up. But first, I want to say right now, good times, good friends over at Gametime. Good time, good friends, Gametime. Check it out today. Go there, create your account, use code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. Folks, that's $20 off your first purchase. So what Gametime is, you get last-minute tickets, you get the lowest prices, guaranteed. And so, it's the NBA, right? You just never quite know who's going to play. Thursday was a good example of it. You're sitting around downtown Oklahoma City. Is LeBron going to play? Is he not going to play? You get wind of LeBron playing 30 minutes before tip-off. That would have been the perfect time to hop onto Gametime and get you those last-minute tickets, lowest prices guaranteed. They have flash deals. They have zone deals. They have tickets for concerts, sports, movies, comedy shows, theater, everything that you want. And you also get a view from your seat. View from your seat so you know exactly what you're getting into. And my personal favorite part about Gametime is it shows you the prices up front. There's no hidden fees. It's not like, oh, you're looking at it on the surface and then you go check out and whoa, now the total is totally different. No, you get the total right there as you're picking out the tickets that you want. It makes buying it so much easier. You get the tickets in seconds. It's over there at Gametime. Check it out today. Gametime. Use the code LOCKEDONNBA. That's $20 off your first purchase when you use code LOCKEDONNBA. Terms and conditions apply. Create that account. Redeem code LOCKEDONNBA. LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase at Gametime. We're back on the Locked On Thunder podcast, on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Thank you so much for making us your first listen every single morning, every single day. We're here for you talking Thunder basketball. Chet Holmgren just has a knack for clutch plays and playing well in the clutch. 11 points in this game for Chet Holmgren. Those were huge 11 points, 11 rebounds, so a double-double for Chet. 3 assists, a steal, 5 blocks. 5 blocks. Folks, he had 3 blocks and 4 points in the final 3 minutes of this game. He was an absolute closer, sparking a Dallas timeout with a block and finish on the other end. He just makes plays at the end of games. And some players have that end of game juice, and they have the ability to always be in the action and always be the ones coming up in big spots down the stretch, and others don't. Chet Holmgren has that it factor. He has that ability to come up big late in games. He did a great job, of course, with some follow-up putbacks in this game. He made some great passes like multiple times down the stretch of this game where the shots didn't fall, so it doesn't really materialize for anything on the box score, but still really good passes from Chet Holmgren. And I love the way that they used him finally toward the end of this game. They have to do it more. Like, you have to do this more whenever Shai is double teamed, but using him at the elbow, using him at the nail in the mid-range to be this offensive hub is really, really smart. And it resulted in some really good action whenever Shai is double teamed, basically as soon as he crosses the timeline. He had a play even where he had two good options. I think that he picked the lesser of the 2 good options, but still, it was a good option. So he had a pass from SGA out of the double team, and he gets the ball on the elbow. He's wide open, nobody around him. He could have easily popped the mid-range jumper, but instead he dishes it outside, sprays it out to the slot, and gets Lu Dort, who's open for a 3. Lu Dort missed the shot. And independent of Lu Dort missing the shot, Chet was way more wide open than Lu Dort was. Lu Dort was still open, still a fine shot. Like, Chet was just, nobody was around him. I would have liked to see Chet just shoot that, because you like whenever Chet shoots mid-range jumpers. I know it's kind of taboo in modern NBA, but like, Chet shooting mid-range jumpers is a good thing. But you can see how when you put him in that action to disrupt and kind of help facilitate the offense after Shai gets doubled, it can really help the Thunder thrive in those scenarios. So Chet was awesome in this game. He had a bad play where, like, this just kind of shows, and I'm only pointing out a bad play just because it kind of shows the competitive nature of Chet and like just the mental toughness of Chet, right? Like, this is a rookie who just saw his team go on the wrong end of a 30-0 run. The icing on the cake was him going into a timeout. He gets pickpocketed by Luka, just clean. Luka picks his pocket, goes coast to coast with a finish. That being the lasting image of a 30-something-0 run, right, into a timeout where now you're getting to think about it. Now the crowd is into it even more, and now it really feels dire. It really feels like, hey, we've let go of the rope in a big way. We've let go of this lead. This game feels over. It used to feel over in the good direction. Now it feels over in the bad direction. To immediately respond from that play with the blocks and the points and delivering the Thunder a win as a rookie, not even 20 games into his career, that just shows where Chet's at. And so, like, that is a bad play. Like, no one is going to dispute that, like, getting your pocket picked by Luka is a bad play, but it's the response to that play that is so good. It's the response to a 30-0 run. Like, there were some people like trying to have the novel take of like, I don't care that the Thunder are young. No one is good giving up a 30-0 run. Okay, yeah, giving up a 30-0 run is not the objective of my upwards 3rd grade team or the Harlem Globetrotters, Washington Generals, Dallas Mavericks, Oklahoma City Thunder, UNC Tar Heels. It's not the objective of the Kansas Jayhawks and Fog Allen Fieldhouse. It's not the objection anywhere, right? The Eisenhower Eagles are not trying to give up a 30-0 run on the wrong end of it. That's never going to be the case. Like, yes, congratulations, great take. It's not good to go down 30-0 in a 30-0 run. Brilliant. Bravo. That is savant level analysis. But it's how the Thunder responded to it that did allow them to have a good lesson from this. It did allow them to have a teaching moment either way, even if they would have lost this game. The teaching moment is, hey guys, listen, that's an NBA team that didn't have Kawhi. Didn't have Kyrie, didn't have Tim Hardaway Jr., didn't have Josh Green, and you were up by 24. Felt like the game was over. You start to coast, and boom, in a matter of seconds, you get a 30-0 run. Hey guys, in the NBA, yeah, you can't ever take your foot off the gas in the NBA. You're never going downhill in the NBA where you can just let the foot off the gas and your speed's going to continue to roll, right? You're always heading uphill in the NBA against modern offenses. So that's what they learned. It just so happened that they got to learn that with a win, and they got to learn that within this game. But yeah, congratulations. Yeah, they were not trying to go down 30-0 and going in a 30-0 run that was not great for any team, regardless of their age. Perfectly good analysis there. But Chet Holmgren did a really good job of being able to respond and being able to help the Thunder win games. I thought SGA was hugely impactful. Didn't have the 40-point, 30-point night. He only scores 17 points. He starts out 1 point in the first quarter, 0 for 4 shooting, right there, very uncharacteristic. Rest of the way, he misses 7 shots total in this game for 17 points. 3 rebounds, 9 assists, 5 steals, and a block for him. Just 2 turnovers, or +8 in this game. Had poor spacing in this game, getting doubled. Those things happen, but still, he made the big plays when it mattered most, like those huge steals down the stretch of this game. J. Will from Arkansas. J. Will, of course, in case you still are kind of shaky on the whole Dub Will situation. Awesome first half. This was the perfect game from Jalen Williams. You saw the perfect game from him and Dallas Bertans of what was scripted for them in the preseason. We've been talking ad nauseum in the preseason on this show about J. Will is going to take a massive leap as a second-year player simply because you are now asking him to play the role he played last year, only in reduced minutes, to where he's able to just give you a huge punch. That's exactly what happened. 14 minutes, he scored 14 points, went 4 for 5 from 3, 3 rebounds, 2 charges drawn, broke up a Mavericks lob play, plus 16 points, in the plus minus. J. Will was great in the first half, and he allowed the Thunder to have spacing even whenever Chet was off the floor, and he was kind of being that 5 for SGA. That's the perfect J. Will game. And it all came in a half, but it was a great half to have it. And obviously, this game tightened up to where you needed every single bucket. J-Dub out of Santa Clara was also big. He's been huge in the second quarters. This second quarter of this game, 4 points, 2 assists, and a steal in the second frame. He had the go-ahead bucket late. He had 23 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists, a steal, and only 1 turnover. Using him as the secondary creator, using him as the primary creator for that secondary group is the right decision. He is the man for the job. It shows his versatility because he can go from playing, wing to playing point guard pretty much for that secondary group. I mean, he was out there to start the second quarter with Wiggins and Kenrich Williams and Chet and those guys. He was the point guard. But he was awesome at creating for himself and others and being a scorer to help bridge the gap. But before Shai can get back in the game in his rotations. Coming up, let's talk Cason, let's talk Isaiah Joe, let's talk Bertans, and we're going to have your takeaways from this game. But first, I want to tell you right now, my good friends over at FanDuel. Folks, FanDuel is great. FanDuel is where you want to go. Go to FanDuel.com/lockedon right now to get started. When you do, for new customers, you place that $5 moneyline bet. You're going to get $150 in bonus bets if your $5 moneyline bet hits. That's all you got to do. If you're a new customer, $5 moneyline bet, it hits, and you get $150 in bonus bets. The moneyline is just who you think is going to win. That's all it is. So you can simply take the largest favorite on the board. They actually do win, and boom, you win $150 in bonus bets. Right now is a great time for FanDuel because you have college basketball, you have the NBA, you have the NHL, you have the NFL, and we're about to hit college football bowl season. You're going to have some time off for the holidays. Bowl games come on at all hours of the day. Be a lot of fun to get in on FanDuel.com/lockedon. Go there right now. FanDuel.com/lockedon. We're back on the Locked On Thunder podcast, on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Thank you so much for making us your first listen every single morning, every single day. We're here for you talking Thunder basketball. Cason Wallace, 50% from the floor, 2 for 7 from 3, 6 boards, 15 points. I think he did a really good job defending Luka. He did a really good job of staying planted, not biting on fakes, staying under him, not giving him space on those step backs and fall away shots. He's an elite defender, and Luka Doncic is an elite scorer. Luka Doncic. There are no words to describe how good he is. I'm not envious of Nick Angstead of Locked On Mavs. Go listen to that today and drop in their thunder up in the comments on YouTube. But Luka Doncic, 36 points, 18 assists, 15 rebounds. There's no words. You just can't describe how awesome he was in this game. First game back as a dad, he had one of those games, and there's just nothing you can do. I don't believe the Thunder poorly defended Luka at all. I believe the Thunder played really good defense on Luka pretty consistently this game. Luka is just special. And Cason deserves a lot of credit for some of the contests he had on Luka. Well, that did result in misses, and also some that resulted in makes that were just really good contests in general. Isaiah Joe, really good shooting, 2 for 5 from 3, 2 assists, 7 rebounds, forced an 8-second call to get a stop after a big 3. Hits a big 3. Jason Kidd calls a timeout. 8-second call forced by Isaiah Joe. Massive momentum swing for OKC and a +10 in this game. We mentioned the J. Will perfect script game. That was Bertans' perfect script game. He plays 11 minutes, goes 3 for 3 from 3, gets fouled twice on 3-point shots, scores 15 points, gets a steal and a rebound as well. Played alongside Chet. That was nice, but go all the way back to the time he was traded for. This was the best case scenario for Dallas Bertans. You put him in for a 10-minute stretch. He turns the game on its head with 3-point shooting. You get him out, and that's it. He did his job. Dallas Bertans did his job in this game. Great job by him. MVP of the game. Let's go Chet Holmgren. Chet Holmgren, MVP of the game. This is going to be a great week of shows for you. We have a weird setup this week in terms of like game coverages because there's only the Wednesday Rockets game or Thursday Rockets game, whenever that game is. No, Wednesday Rockets game, Friday Warriors game. So in between there, we're going to have Monday. We're going to have your fake trades, so you can still drop those on Twitter and on the YouTube comment sections. We're going to preview the week ahead. We're going to give you where the rotation stands right now and if there should be any kind of tweaks to it. Tuesday, it's all about you. Your mailbag questions will guide the show. Wednesday, a special guest. Thursday, the Rockets recap. Friday, the Warriors preview. And how far can this team get in the playoffs? Saturday, the Warriors recap. But right now, we're going to do your takeaways. So your takeaways, let's start with Frosty. Luka is really good. He is really, really good. Kat says Shai should be the MVP frontrunner and Chet is the Rookie of the Year frontrunner. I agree on both fronts. OKC Access said would love to be in the final timeout huddle. It was a gutsy thing to call your last timeout with 4.5 minutes left, but whatever Mark said must have worked. Yeah, I imagine there was a lot of screaming in the timeout huddle. If I just had to guess. But Andrew Baxter says, are the Thunder ahead of schedule in terms of the rebuild? I mean, I would assume so. I would assume that like this team is ahead of schedule. Now, what does that mean? I don't think it means like people assume it does. Like being ahead of schedule doesn't mean they're going to go all in and like trade for a star because this team, frankly, might not need a star. Like this team, frankly, might not need a guy that's going to take up 15 shots a night. Like that's not what this team needs at all, in my opinion. So, like the whatever they do will not look like trading for insert superstar to hit the market, in my opinion. So, have they had a schedule? I think they're going to be much better this year than people thought. But does that translate to anything? I'm not so sure about that. We can continue on here with your takeaways. Andrew says Dallas has a role in the team next year. On this year's team. On this year's team? Sure. I mean, the role is what he did tonight. 10 minutes and shoots threes. And that's what the contract restructure did for him, is it opens up a lane to try him in more games and try him in these situations. So we'll see if he can catch fire in more games than this. So Andrew also says the Thunder are a resilient young team. You can call this OKC's worst stretch, the 30-0 run, but also their most impressive win. It is a interesting dichotomy between those two things, but it's true. Terrible stretch, 30-0 run. You're going to be bad in that stretch to be able to pull that off in a bad way. But to pull off the win was really, really good. Serious marbles displayed tonight. Yeah, there was Chet, Shai, J-Dub, just an overall awesome thing for the team, as French Bread says. French Bread, really, really good, by the way. Took a punch to the teeth, got back up to close it out. Tough win on the road, shows maturity. I cannot agree more with that takeaway, with that assessment. Few things here from Solid 7. Josh Giddey does not deserve the start purely from a basketball case scenario. Cason is a better player long-term and better impactful. Look, I'm glad you said basketball scenario. We're only talking about basketball here. Like, this is just about basketball for this Josh Giddey assessment. Yes, Josh Giddey is playing awful basketball. The Thunder are realizing that. Again, he's playing awful. The Thunder aren't playing him. This was a season low in minutes. Yes, he's technically being announced on the PA address and is a starter, but he played, whatever he played, 16 minutes tonight. 16 minutes is nothing. That is into the bench type of minutes. I mean, Jay Will played 14. Jay Will by no means started, and he didn't play in the second half. Josh Giddey only played 2 or 3 minutes in the second half. That was the difference between Josh and Jay Will's game tonight in terms of minute workload. The difference was Josh played 3:45 in the second half, and Jay Will played 4 minutes in the second half, but he didn't play, of course, a lot in the early part of the first quarter. That was more really the difference there. Nonetheless, Josh isn't playing. He's not playing because he's not playing good basketball. He is just not an impactful player right now in a positive way. The teams are not defending him at all. It's allowing them to use their center, in kind of a free safety type role where they can just clog the lane and clean up shots on the back end because no one cares about closing out on Josh Giddey. And to Josh Giddey's credit, I mean, he still made multiple threes tonight. He went 2 for 6 from 3. He made one good pass to Cason that didn't result in an assist because it resulted in free throws. It would have been an assist if the Mavs didn't foul him. But still, Josh Giddey is just not playing good basketball. He's not as good as a playmaker in this stretch right now. He's not as good of a rebounder in this stretch right now. He's not scoring at all. And the bottom line is, he's not a good defender. He's not doing anything good right now on the court. Now, that doesn't mean that he's never going to be a good basketball player or that he previously wasn't a good basketball player. He was really good this summer in FIBA. But as we talked about this summer in FIBA, the difference for Josh is not his three-point shooting, because it is a pipe dream to believe that Josh Giddey can ever become a three-point shooter that will gain respect. Even if Josh Giddey shoots technically league average in the ledger, right? Technically speaking, even if he shoots league average, he's never going to have the amount of attempts that will make you change the way you defend him. Look at Jay Will. I mean, Jay Will shot 40% from 3 last year. He shot 40%. And teams still are not just viciously closing out the Jay Will. They oftentimes leave him on the perimeter, and it results in a game like this where he shoots 4 for 5 from 3. But you live with that, right? You'll live with, hey, if you're going to let Jay Will shoot 5 times from 3, we're gonna be fine with that. That's how they're going to treat Josh Giddey. So the difference in Josh Giddey's offensive game to me is not his 3-point shooting. He's shooting 30% from 3. He shot 32% last year. Even if he does become a 35% 3-point shooter, it doesn't matter on those shot attempts. The difference for Josh Giddey's game is going to be how he can score in the other two areas. Can you score in the mid-range, and can you score at the rim? Because if you can do that, and you can make teams respect your hard drives and shade over to you as you're driving or as you're taking a step into the mid-range or as you're trying to score, if you can make them respect you and keep a man with you, then, and much less if you do get by your man and get to the rim, and when you bring someone over to try to defend you at the rim, then his playmaking can take over and he can be able to dish it out, and he can be able to find the open man, or he can just simply convert at the rim if he's able to get better. But right now, he's not scoring at any of the 3 levels. We know his deficiencies defensively. He's not rebounding the ball very well. He's just not playing good basketball. And so from a basketball standpoint, sure, you can say he doesn't deserve to start. But to me, the starting thing just doesn't matter. To me, it doesn't matter who starts. It matters who plays, and it matters who closes. Josh is not playing right now. Josh hasn't played 30 minutes in 10 games or whatever it's been. Like he's just not playing. Like he is starting, but they're not leaving him out there for a significant amount of time. And you're never going to play your 6th overall pick who you're still developing. You're never going to play him 0 minutes. So they've cut his minutes down as dramatically as you can. They see it too. Like Mark sees it too. Mark's not playing him. Like Mark, if he was still starting and playing 30 minutes, I'd be with you. But he's not being played because he's not playing good basketball. And now maybe he can play good basketball in the future. I wouldn't say that like he can never become a good basketball player. But yeah, he's not playing good basketball right now. That's not like no one is shying away from that. Not even the Thunder are shying away from that because they're not playing him. So that's kind of where I'm at on Josh Giddey. I don't know if he's magically going to start shooting the ball better at the rim, or magically going to start shooting the ball better in the mid-range, or become a better just overall player. He's shown those flashes within this season even. Like go back to that Spurs game. He played good. But you've just got to get it to a more consistent level, and you've got to get him turned around. He had his best stretch of basketball last year, kind of end of December, and then in January when the whole team was clicking. Maybe that's the time frame that'll take off this year as well. But yeah, he's not playing good. But I wouldn't worry too much about who's starting. I would not worry yourself with like, oh, Cason should be starting because he's better. Okay, I mean, like, yeah, but like the starting stuff, it's just a fruitless debate to me because of the way that they're handling it on the back end. If it wasn't handled right in the back end, it'd be a different conversation. But just watch who plays and who doesn't. And you'll see, like the Thunder will play the guys who give them a chance to win. They've been doing that. And it could swing back around at any moment. Like at any moment, Josh could start playing basketball the way that he has before in the NBA, the way that he has in FIBA at any moment. But as of right this second, he's not playing good. He's not playing. That's the end of it. That is the end of it. That's the end of today's show as well. So we'll talk to you again on Monday. Until then, be good and be good to one another.